In yet another bizarre twist in the political circus that has become Donald Trump's campaign trail, his latest rally in Coachella, California, devolved into utter chaos. What started as a typical Trump event quickly spiraled out of control when a heckler in the crowd interrupted the former president's tirade. The tension escalated so rapidly that the rally had to be shut down early. The night's drama reached a boiling point when Trump began referencing a centuries-old law from 1798, sparking both confusion and outrage among attendees. What followed was an eruption of hostility that culminated in Trump kicking the heckler out on camera, a moment that instantly went viral. But what's truly shocking isn't just the heckling or Trump's response. It's the deeper implications of what Trump promoted at this rally. The Alien Enemies Act of 1798, a piece of legislation historically tied to xenophobia, and the unprecedented amount of disinformation Trump spewed about immigration policies, left many wondering if Trump's grip on reality is slipping further into dangerous territory. With 24 days remaining until the election, this rally may be a critical turning point, exposing not only Trump's deteriorating mental state, but also the waning support he's encountering from his own base. This video dives into the wild moments from the rally, Trump's promotion of regressive laws, the heckler's shocking insult, and how all of this may be signaling the beginning of the end for Trump's political career. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to reaching 1,000 subscribers, but we can't do it without you. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe right now. And if you're already subscribed, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know your thoughts. All right, let's dive right into it. The Alien Enemies Act, Trump's attempt to turn back time. At the heart of Trump's chaotic rally was his mention of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, a law that most Americans have never even heard of. Passed during the presidency of John Adams, this law granted the government sweeping powers to detain and deport non-citizens during times of war, particularly those from hostile nations. Historically, it was weaponized during World War II to intern Japanese Americans, most of whom were U.S. citizens. Trump, in a jaw-dropping move, suggested reviving this archaic law to target modern immigrants despite its racist roots and historical misuse. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil, Trump bellowed, to the enthusiastic cheers of his supporters, who likely had no idea what this law entailed. Trump's proposal was nothing short of disturbing, as it implied a blanket targeting of migrants, potentially including naturalized U.S. citizens, under the guise of national security. His language was intentionally vague, but the underlying message was clear. Trump wants to roll back the clock to a time when xenophobia was codified into American law. Trump even gave his plan a name, calling it Operation Aurora, allegedly in honor of the victims of gang violence in Aurora, Colorado. However, the choice of name seemed almost like a nod to something far darker, a veiled reference to a world where authoritarianism reigns. The rally crowd, chanting their approval, appeared oblivious to the fascistic undertones of Trump's words, as they reveled in his promises to clean up the country by any means necessary. Heckler's interruption. Chaos erupts. As Trump ranted on about immigration, the rally took a dramatic turn when a voice from the crowd began shouting. A heckler, frustrated by Trump's lies and divisive rhetoric, interrupted the speech. "Lies, lies, lies!" the person shouted, triggering boos and jeers from the crowd. For a moment, Trump appeared rattled. He paused, scanning the crowd, as the heckling grew louder. The person's voice cut through the noise of the crowd, clearly accusing Trump of spreading falsehoods about immigration and the economy. In a move reminiscent of his past rally antics, Trump quickly resorted to mocking the heckler, suggesting they go back to mommy and sarcastically commenting on how their mother must be a big fan of his. Back home to mommy. Is that you, darling? Get her out of here. Trump sneered. It was a tired routine, one that he had used at countless rallies before, but the crowd, as usual, ate it up. The heckler was forcibly removed from the event, while Trump supporters erupted into applause. However, the interaction left a bitter taste in the air. It wasn't just the heckling that had rattled the rally, but the fact that Trump's once ironclad grip on his audience seemed to be weakening. The insult from the heckler, calling Trump a liar to his face, was a reminder that not everyone in the crowd was blindly loyal. The early shutdown of the rally, coupled with the increasing discontent within Trump's base, signaled a deeper fracture in his political movement. Trump's false claims, a campaign built on lies. Throughout the rally, Trump returned to familiar territory, weaving a tapestry of falsehoods about the state of the country and his political rivals. His claims about immigration were not just exaggerated, they were outright lies. Trump asserted that the U.S. was facing an invasion of immigrants, citing inflated numbers and distorted statistics to support his narrative. He suggested that over 21 million illegal immigrants had crossed the border. With 13,000 murders on the loose, these numbers, however, have been thoroughly debunked. The real figures, while concerning, are nowhere near what Trump claimed. He also took aim at Vice President Kamala Harris, blaming her for what he called the destruction of California. Trump's accusations were not only false, but steeped in racist undertones, as he referenced Harris's Jamaican and Indian heritage, insinuating that she was responsible for an influx of crime and illegal aliens. This racially charged rhetoric is nothing new for Trump, who has consistently relied on fear-mongering about immigrants to energize his base. Trump's fixation on immigration seems to be a deliberate strategy to distract from his own failures on the economy and healthcare. Polls have shown that Trump is losing his edge on the economy, with inflation cooling and the stock market booming under President Joe Biden. Rather than addressing these realities, Trump continues to distort the facts, painting a grim picture of an America overrun by criminals and chaos, an image that is far removed from the truth. Operation Aurora, Trump's dangerous new plan. One of the most troubling moments of the rally came when Trump unveiled Operation Aurora, a plan to expedite removals of undocumented immigrants and members of so-called criminal networks. Trump described the plan in graphic detail, invoking imagery of violent gangs like MS-13, who he claimed were butchering Americans. He told a horrifying story of 2 young girls in Long Island who were brutally murdered by MS-13 members, recounting the event with gruesome detail to shock his audience. This focus on gang violence, while rooted in real tragedies, is another example of Trump's reliance on fear-based tactics. His narrative ignores the fact that immigration in general does not equate to increased crime. In fact, multiple studies have shown that immigrants, both documented and undocumented, commit fewer crimes than native-born Americans. But Trump's message was clear. He is positioning himself as the only candidate who can save America from what he calls an immigrant invasion. Yet Operation Aurora is more than just a tough-on-crime policy. It's a dangerous escalation of Trump's anti-immigrant rhetoric, one that could have devastating consequences for millions of people, including U.S. citizens. Trump's plan to invoke the Alien Enemies Act to deport not just undocumented immigrants, but potentially anyone he deems a threat, harkens back to some of the darkest chapters in American history, including the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II. The media backlash, comparing Trump to Kamala Harris. In stark contrast to Trump's chaotic rally, Vice President Kamala Harris has been steadily rising in popularity, largely due to her calm and composed demeanor. As Trump continues to unravel in public appearances, Harris has been gaining traction, especially with her recent media interviews. Harris's campaign has positioned her as the voice of reason, in direct opposition to Trump's erratic and inflammatory rhetoric. Trump's refusal to participate in a 60 Minutes interview, a long-standing tradition for presidential candidates, has only fueled concerns about his transparency. Harris, on the other hand, has been open and accessible, giving interviews and addressing the concerns of the American people. Trump's unwillingness to debate Harris or even engage in a normal interview raises serious questions about his fitness for office. The media's portrayal of Trump as a raging, unhinged leader has not been lost on the public. In recent weeks, high-profile figures, including General Mark Milley, have openly criticized Trump, calling him dangerously unstable. Milley's comments have echoed throughout political circles, with many pointing to Trump's increasingly erratic behavior as evidence that he is unfit to lead. Elon Musk's role. The shadow campaign to boost Trump. In the midst of Trump's political turmoil, another figure looms large: Elon Musk. The billionaire has been quietly working behind the scenes to influence the 2024 election in Trump's favor. From setting up a war room in Pittsburgh to financially incentivizing swing state voters, Musk's involvement in Trump's campaign has raised eyebrows. Musk's actions, including offering $47 payments to people who register to vote in swing states like Pennsylvania, have drawn comparisons to the kind of political interference that Republicans have long railed against. Imagine if George Soros, a Democratic billionaire, were doing the same thing. Republicans would be up in arms. Yet, Musk's efforts have gone largely unnoticed by mainstream media outlets, who seem more focused on Trump's latest outbursts than on the billionaire's shadow campaign. Musk's influence over Trump has also raised questions about the future of American politics. If billionaires like Musk can tip the scales in favor of candidates like Trump, what does that mean for the democratic process? And how far will Musk go to ensure that Trump remains in power? These are questions that need to be answered as the election draws nearer. As Trump's rally in Coachella spiraled into chaos, it became clear that his grip on the political landscape is weakening. The Hecklers' insult, the early shutdown of the rally, and Trump's promotion of regressive policies all point to a campaign in decline. With each passing day, Trump seems more and more unhinged, his rhetoric increasingly divorced from reality. His fixation on immigration, his embrace of archaic laws like the Alien Enemies Act, and his dangerous new plan, Operation Aurora, show a man willing to do anything to regain power. But the cracks in Trump's movement are growing. The heckling at his rally is just one sign of the discontent brewing within his own base. The media's comparisons of Trump to Vice President Kamala Harris, who has been rising in popularity, further highlight his decline. And with Elon Musk lurking in the shadows, pulling strings behind the scenes, it's clear that Trump's campaign is more fragile than ever. As the election draws near, Trump's increasingly erratic behavior, coupled with his dangerous policies, poses a significant threat to the future of American democracy. Whether the country will wake up to this reality in time remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Trump's political career is hanging by a thread.